Top gaming motherboards of 2023, sorted by socket and chipset. All of the components in your computer are either plugged into or connected to your motherboard. The size of the PC case you'll need to use is also determined by the form factor of the motherboard, ATX, eATX, Micro ATX, or Mini ITX. Additionally, the processors that install in your CPU socket are determined by the chipset and socket. You can narrow down your options by visiting our motherboard basics page and our motherboard buying guide if you're not sure which motherboard chipset you're after or if you have any other questions that aren't covered here. 5. GB Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus. Best Z690 Mini ITX motherboard. Specifications. LGA 1700 socket chipset, Intel Z690 shape factor, compact ITX 13-phase voltage regulator CX16. 1. USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type-C, 20 gigabits per second, port on the V5.0 USB port. 3. Gen 2 USB 3.2, 10 gigabits per second to 5 gigabits per second USB 3.2 Gen 1, to 480 megabits per second USB 2.0 3-year warranty. In our testing, the Gigabyte Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus has shown to be a reliable, attractive, and reasonably priced choice within the Z690 ITX category. It is more affordable than the majority of competitors at $329.99, and it comes with two M.2 ports, a cutting-edge, high-end audio codec, and excellent 105A MOSFETs that can support any CPU. Additionally, the design is RGB inclusive. The Z690 Phantom Gaming ITX/T.B. 4 from ASRock, the MSI Meg Z690i Unify for $399, and the ROG Strix Z690i Gaming Wi-Fi 6E from Asus for $409.99 are the competitors. The difference between these more than adequate ITX boards is based on your needs and budget. These boards all include two M.2 connectors, two SATA ports, Wi-Fi 6E, and 2.5 GB. The MSI is the only board having three M.2 sockets, the other boards have extra SATA connections. When compared to other audio codecs, the ASRock performs poorly, yet few consumers would notice the difference. The features of the Gigabyte Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus are appealing to us. Problems with the PCI slot on the prior version of the board were resolved by the new one, which also gave us a more comprehensive and reasonably priced SKU. Additionally, it is the only Z690-based ITX board with RGB LEDs embedded in to give it a distinctive appearance in your case. The Ultra Plus is the greatest Z690 Mini ITX choice available for the price, but those who want to use more than two SATA disks will have to search elsewhere. 4. ASRock B760M Steel Legend Wi-Fi. The best micro ATX motherboard, B760M. Specifications. LGA 1700 socket Intel B760 chipset dimensions, small ATX 14-phase voltage regulator, 12x50 ASPS MOSFETs for vCore, USB ports, 1 V5.0 USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 20 gigabits per second, CX16 USB 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second, USB 2.0, 480 megabits per second, USB 3.2 Gen 1, 10 gigabits per second, and Type 3-year warranty. The B760 chipset, and more specifically the B760M Steel Legend board, is the way to go if you're looking for a cheap micro ATX size motherboard that won't overclock your processor. With three M.2 connectors, it's more feature-rich, costs about $160, and is arguably just as attractive as the majority of its competitors. The ED port allows users to add ASRock's 13.3-inch side panel kit to their case to add some flair. If you enjoy bling, the vibrant RGBs will light up any chassis. Even with the power limitations increased, it managed our Intel i9-13900K, despite the power delivery's lackluster performance on paper. Although it is a good gamer, performance out of the box is comparable to other boards that adhere to Intel requirements, i.e., slower than unlocked boards in multi-threaded and long-running benchmarks. The CPU cooling is your only restriction once you've unlocked it. The priciest alternative among the competitors is the Asus Prime B760M AX, $168.99, however it has no features that surpass those of our Steel Legend. The B760M Aorus Elite Axe from Gigabyte costs $159.99 and has two M.2 slots instead of three, but it more than makes up for it with a more upscale design. Another good alternative is MSI's Pro B760MA Wi-Fi, $154.99, although it lacks M.2 storage and isn't as attractive as it could be. ASRock's B760M Steel Legend Wi-Fi, which retails for approximately $160, is among the finest micro ATX choices for Intel processors from the 12th to 14th generations. 3. ASRock Z790 Steel Legend. Best Z790 motherboard under budget. Specifications. LGA 1700 socket chipset, Intel Z790 shape factor, ATX power 18-phase regulator, 16x60 ASPS MOSFETs for vCore single V5.0x16, single V4.0x4, and single V3.0x16 USB ports, 1 Type-C, USB 3.2 Gen 1, 10 gigabits per second, 10 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, 8 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, 5 3-year warranty. If you're on a tight budget and want to take use of all the features offered by Intel's overclockable platform without having to shell out a ton of cash, the Z790 Steel Legend is a terrific choice. In addition to its sleek, silver design with bright RGB lighting and neutral black appearance, this platform offers everything you could possibly want: 8 SATA ports, a front panel 20 gigabits per second USB Type-C, integrated Wi-Fi 6E, a basic audio codec, an ED port for an extra monitor, a PCI 5.0 slot, an M.2 socket, 5 total on the latter, and power delivery strong enough to support our flagship class processor both stock and when overclocked. One of the most feature-rich Intel Z790 choices available is ASRock Steel Legend, which retails for about $230. Here, the only true trade-off is the 2. ASRock Z790 Taichi Lite. Best motherboard for ATX Z790. Specifications. LGA 1700 socket chipset, Intel Z790 form factor, eATX 27-phase voltage regulator, using 24x105 ASPS MOSFETs for the vCore. CX16, 1, V4.0, X42, V5.0, X16, X8/X82 Thunderbolt 4, 40 gigabits per second, USB ports USB 2.0, 480 megabits per second 2, USB 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second 6, USB 3.2 Gen 1, 10 gigabits per second, Type 3-year warranty. It's good to see at least one partner provide something slightly less expensive than the flagship, but still fully spec'd, in a market where motherboard prices have risen sharply over the past several years. The ASRock Z790 Taichi Lite, which retails for $379.99, includes everything that the more costly Taichi has to offer, such as dual Thunderbolt 4 connections, extremely strong power delivery, a PCI 5.0 M.2 socket, 8 SATA ports, tons of storage options, premium audio, and more. It's lacking the upscale appearance. Stenciled designs, a more exposed PCB, and less complex heatsinks replace the characteristic Taichi 3D cogs and fine finishes on the shrouds and heatsinks. However, this board can still be identified as a Taichi. Regarding competition, there's no shortage in the sub-$400 market. To put it plainly, though, hardware-wise, none of the other boards available at that price even come close. Even with that caveat, this board's appearance is its greatest flaw. Simply put, it lacks the upscale atmosphere of the original Taichi. The Taichi Lite has relieved weight in all the right areas if you want some of the greatest hardware the Z790 platform has to offer at a more affordable price and your build doesn't require flagship class appearances. 1. Aorus Extreme, Gigabyte Z790. Top high-end Z790 motherboard details. Plug type, LGA 1700 Intel Z790 chipset ATX as the form factor governor of voltage, 23-phase PCX16, 1 V5.0, V3.0, X4, X122 Thunderbolt 4 Type-C, 40 gigabits per second, and 10 USB 3.2 Gen 2, 10 gigabits per second, USB ports are available. 3 years of warranty. While the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Extreme offers the greatest pricing among flagship class Z790 motherboards, all of them offer the best features and characteristics. Though it costs between $200 and $400 less than the competition, this bird has everything else you might want and more. You will lose a couple M.2 sockets over more expensive boards, though. With 10 gigabits Ethernet, 40 gigabits per second Thunderbolt 4 ports, flagship class audio, PCI 5.0 GPU and M.2 support, overkill power supply, and the upscale look you anticipate from a high-end board, the Z790 Aorus Extreme offers it all. Though it costs $400 more and has 7 M.2 sockets, MSI's Z790 Godlike offers a few additional functions. However, because it is physically larger and costs more, it is difficult to suggest to most people unless money is not an issue. Not surprisingly for a flagship board, the Z790 Aorus Extreme fared well in our productivity, gaming, and overclocking tests as well. Just keep in mind that since this is an EATX model, a case with a little bit more space is required than with a typical ATX chassis. However, the money you'll save by choosing this board over other Z790 flagship choices might definitely be used to purchase a larger case.